Basics with Babish and my website, basicswithbabish.com, are brought to you by Squarespace. Head there now to check out all of the recipes from the show, kitchen equipment lists, and more. Get 10% off your first Squarespace order by visiting squarespace.com/babish. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Alright, so today we're making one of my favorites, Millionaire's Shortbread, and before we can make our millions, we gotta make shortbread. Into a large bowl goes a quarter cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon each vanilla extract and kosher salt, and half a cup melted unsalted butter. Give this a nice regular size whisking until it is smooth and homogeneous, and then we're gonna add about a cup of all-purpose flour. I say about a cup because shortbread's pretty forgiving. We're really going for more of a consistency here, something that holds its shape when pressed together but is still nice and crumbly. Then we're just gonna generously butter our baking vessel of choice, dump in our shortbread dough, and press it down using wetted fingies. Or if you want the top really nice and smooth, the flat bottom of a ramekin, until it looks like that. Then all there is left to do before baking is docking, or the act of poking lots and lots of little holes into our shortbread using a fork, then optionally topping with a sprinkle of raw or turbinado sugar, tapping down with our ramekin to make sure that it sticks in place, and baking at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes until golden brown, crisp, and rigid. Allow to cool on a wire rack completely about an hour before slicing and serving. And there you have it, one of the easiest to make and tastiest to eat cookies in the whole of human history. It is buttery, it is tender, it is crisp. It has a texture that Paul Hollywood would call very short. How do we improve on such simple perfection? Easy. We drown it in caramel and chocolate. You will notice that I'm making another batch of shortbread here, this time a double batch, because we need enough to comfortably fill a lasagna pan like this one, which for expedited cookie release later on, we're going to line with aluminum foil. One sheet trimmed widthwise, the other trimmed lengthwise, the same way that we would for brownies. And then because we don't want the cookies to stick to the foil either, we're going to liberally lube with butter before pressing our shortbread dough down inside. I don't think a ramekin is going to cut it this time, so use anything big and flat to even out the top. Uneven cookies is a Bush League look. Likewise, we are docking our shortbread before placing it in a 350 degree oven, this time for 17 to 22 minutes because it's a little thicker. We're letting this chill on a rack until completely cooled throughout, about 2 hours. Plenty of time to contend with our caramel. Into a medium saucepan goes half a cup of unsalted butter, one 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, I'm sorry you had to see that, sometimes I just can't help myself, 1 cup of light brown sugar, half a cup of corn syrup, and half a cup of heavy cream. You'd also have to be crazy to make unsalted caramel, so 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. Then we are headed over to the stovetop where we are placing this whole affair over medium heat, attempting to tiny whisk everything together to no avail and having to resort to a regular-sized whisk. Then we're bringing this guy to a simmer and whisking frequently for about 15 to 20 minutes until it reaches 236 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to stall around 225, but just keep going and don't give up. To get the right consistency in our caramel, we need to end up between 236 and 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the correct temperature has been achieved, we're going to pour our caramel over our awaiting shortbread. We're then going to use an offset spatula to push it into all the corners and spread it out nice and even, and tap it a few times against the countertop to pop any bubbles. Next, we are going to set that aside to cool completely because it's time to work on the final element of our Millionaire Shortbread, a tempered chocolate topping. For this, we need 8 ounces of dark chocolate, either in wafer form or chopped coarsely. Whatever you got, we're going to take about 2 ounces of it, chop it fine, and set it aside. This is going to be the seed that helps our chocolate temper. Ooh, chocolate temper, dibs on that for a new band name. Anyway, we're going to be melting the remaining 6 ounces of our chocolate by virtue of a double boiler. Just go ahead and dump the chocolate in there, mix it around, and allow it to melt, not allowing it to exceed a temperature of 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Removing it from the heat to finish melting if necessary, then we're going to take it off the heat completely, and then we're going to immediately stir in our seed chocolate. This is both going to help cool the chocolate down and allow it to temper perfectly. Once it reaches about 82 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to pour it over our cooled caramel, pushing it into all the corners and spreading it out nice and even with an offset spatula. Give it a spirited wiggle and a few taps to make sure that it's nice and even and all the bubbles have popped, and then it's time to cover and refrigerate for 10 minutes or until the chocolate is set. And as you can see, I did not temper my chocolate properly. I got it too hot, so it ended up a little streaky, but it is still set. Now we're just going to use our aluminum foil handles to lift the shortbread out of the pan, slowly and carefully peel off the aluminum, and get ready to slice. I'm just going to cut these guys into bars. I think that's their most natural form. See if we got nice even coverage in our cross section, and we did. The chocolate is cutting a little sloppily, but these are still going to come out looking real nice. I tried experimenting with a bread knife. I do not recommend this. I would try to make long sweeping slices through the chocolate first and then pressing down through the caramel and cookie layers. This prevents the chocolate from cracking and gives you nice, even little cookies. And there you have it, the only thing on this planet greater than a Twix bar, the Millionaire's Shortbread. A crunchy, chewy amalgam of chocolate, caramel, and cookie that simply must be tried to be believed. It's the perfect cookie for Valentine's Day? I mean, I guess so. What's the next major holiday we got coming up? Daylight Savings Time. It's the perfect cookie for Daylight Savings Time. This episode and many others have been sponsored by Squarespace because they've been an amazing partner in both bringing this show and my websites to life. They've got a really intuitive, easy-to-use platform that made it super easy for someone like me who's never done web design, ever. They have templates, they do domains, they have really good customer service. It's basically a one-stop shop for building a really slick website. If you want to try it for yourself, you can start your free trial today by visiting squarespace.com/Babish to get 10% off your first purchase.